Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Turkish premium. This is an arbitrage opportunity that's going to be available to anyone who has access to the Turkish Lira. So without further ado, let's dive into arbitrage and the Turkish premium on Binance. Today, I'm going to show you guys a live and a classic example of locational arbitrage. This video might be a little bit laggy because I've pulled up like a bunch of different market rates, so I hope my computer doesn't die. So let me just cut to the chase. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are currently overpriced relative to the Turkish Lira. An example of that is as follows. Imagine we buy one Bitcoin at 58,400. We buy Bitcoin 58,400 and then we sell that one Bitcoin for Turkish Lira at a price of, let's say, 583,400. Okay, so basically we went from USDT or the US dollar to Bitcoin for 58,400. We then sold that Bitcoin for 483,400. Now, what does that leave us with in USDT? So this is what it would leave you with. So if we convert the Turkish Lira to US dollars, it would be 483. What was it again? It was, we would receive 483,400. So essentially, you would get $59,200, even though $59,200 back in the exchange rate, even though we only used 58,400 USD to enter. So basically, guys, this is an arbitrage profit of about $800 per Bitcoin, which to me is pretty good. But the story does not end here. The story gets much, much better because it's not just Bitcoin to the Turkish Lira that's overpriced. It's every single one of these pairs. So if you look at all of these pairs here, they're all very overpriced relative to, how liquid Binance is. And I think that the reason that they're overpriced is because Binance recently opened up Turkish bank accounts to their platform and they want Turkish customers. And I think because of that, they're allowing people to sell Bitcoin for an elevated rate to receive the Turkish Lira because they want more Turkish Lira in circulation, I think. But anyway, it's arbitrage profit and I'm happy. Although you might only be able to do this if you have a Turkish bank account. Because let's say that you're like, okay, so Bennett, I understand that about all pairs here are about 1% to 2% price higher because of the Turkish premium here. But is there anything I can do if I don't have a Turkish bank account? Probably not. You kind of do have to have a Turkish bank account for this because the way you would complete this arbitrage profit is essentially going from Tether or whatever crypto to one of these and then selling that like to BNB, selling BNB for the Turkish Lira, and then using that Turkish Lira and withdrawing it to your bank account or to whatever Forex exchange you're on, and then converting that Turkish Lira back to the US dollar. Then you're done. So basically it's Binance to bank account or Forex exchange, and then use that to go from Turkish Lira to USD. And then that's the Turkish premium. This exact scenario happened a few years back with Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX. He did something where he exploited the KRW currency and the Korean currency, where basically he found this same exact situation was happening, except in Korea, where Korean Bitcoin on Korean exchanges was massively overpriced. So basically, he bought Bitcoin in exchanges not in Korea, sold it in Korea for KRW, converted the KRW back to USD, and then repeated the process and made a killing. And this is another example of something kind of similar of where you can do the same. Okay, so let's look at some other pairs to see, which one really is the most overpriced. I don't really have an answer for that, but they're all pretty, overpriced. So let's go look at another guy. Let's go look at Ethereum. So to do that, I'm going to pull up a simple ETH USDT, and let's also pull up ETH to the Turkish Lira. So if I was to purchase one Ethereum using Tether, then I could get it at about 2,077. So I could buy it, lower, look at me. I could buy this at about 2,075. So we buy it at 2,075, and I can sell for, it for 17,200 Turkish Lira. So essentially, I took 2,075 US dollars, and I'm selling it for 17 let's just say 17,180. Okay, how much is that? And what's the arbitrage profit per Ethereum? Oops, 17,180. So essentially the arbitrage profit here would be about $40 per Ethereum. And I hope you guys understand how I did that math. Remember, we bought Ethereum using USDT. We sold that Ethereum for Turkish Lira. We then withdrew that Turkish Lira and then converted it to the US dollar, and you get this elevated rate of 2,104 US dollars for that Turkish Lira. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Turkish Lira or Turkish Lira. I think it's the Lira. That's what I've heard of the news. But essentially, this is something that anyone who has the ability to withdraw the Turkish Lira could take really, really big advantage of. Because some of these pairs are going to be really overpriced. I think if I remember right, AVAX was insane. I don't know if it still is, but the pair AVAX to the Turkish Lira. So again, let's go back to another triangular arbitrage. Here, let's go for another example. So let's say we got that tether and we buy AVAX at 32. That's a very, clean, beautiful price. We buy, let's say, one at 32, just for kicks and giggles. So we buy it at 32 and we can get a pretty nice profit because we can sell that for about 264.5 Turkish Lira. So 264.5 is about 32.38 US dollars. We bought it for 32 US dollars exactly. We can sell it for 32.38. And, if we do this with 100 AVAX, then our profit would be times 100, neglecting slippage, of course. So that is another overpriced pair. I could show you all these, but basically all of these pairs are overpriced such that you couldn't do triangular arbitrage on them. Because what I tried to do was do triangular arbitrage such that I was doing this and BTC USDT, where essentially I was like, can I just buy Bitcoin, sell it for the Turkish Lira, and then convert the Turkish Lira back to USDT? And I found that the every single one of these pairs is overpriced in the same 0.5% range. Every single one of them is overpriced in one way or another. And I'm going to do one more just because I like looking at these overpriced pairs, even though I know they won't be overpriced for long. After I release this video, it's going to be like everyone in Turkey is going to be like, all right, free money. If you know what you're doing, it's free money. But if you don't know what you're doing, don't do this. Because this is a combination of locational arbitrage where people with different bank accounts and in different locations get an advantage, i.e. Turkish. And it's also triangular arbitrage in a sense too, where you take three different... Triangular arbitrage is where you take three different currencies using typically two different pairs, but I think sometimes it can be three pairs as well. And then you go from this rate to another rate to this rate, and you profit from it, from a mispricing in one of the pairs. So here we have Link USDT. You can basically buy this for about 31.56 US dollars, and I can exchange that for about 31.96 US dollars. So this one's overpriced by around the same amount that AVAX was. I don't know which one is the most overpriced. I don't know yet. BNB I don't think is going to be that overpriced, but that's the first one that I tried. But the final thing I want to end this video on is, of course, one of my favorite coins, Binance Coin. And if you hold a lot of Binance Coin, you could probably do this also, but you have to have a Turkish bank account. You could essentially buy BNB at $438. So we buy it at a price of 438.92, let's say 438.6. Yeah, 438.6. We buy one BNB for 438.6, and we can sell it for about 3,629 Turkish Lira. And you guys are probably pretty aware of what this is going to look like. But you can essentially sell that BNB for about 444, even though you bought it for 438. And that's going to beat the fees. I mean, that's really definitely going to beat the fees. So that's really going to do it for this video. Essentially, let me cover what this arbitrage is, and let's zoom out after that and talk about what this means for the future and how you take advantage of this with other examples. So essentially, there's a Turkish premium where all pairs on Binance that are quoted with Turkish Lira are overpriced. So if you have a Turkish bank account, essentially what you can do is you can buy a cryptocurrency, you sell that cryptocurrency for Turkish Lira, you withdraw the Turkish Lira to your bank, you convert it back to USD, and you have an arbitrage profit. And that's kind of it. You do have an arbitrage profit, but you do have to worry about Forex, which is basically what you don't want to have happen is, for example, in the middle of you withdrawing from to get that Turkish Lira back, let's say the Turkish Lira rate just like really falls a lot. That would be quite bad. Of course, you would want the Turkish Lira to improve against the US dollar. If we look at the 12-hour, you'd want to, yeah, but it looks like it's been pretty stable to me. 1.122087, 0.1225. This is super, super stable. So I don't really think that the issue of volatility on the Forex pair will be much of an issue. But, you know, anything can happen in Turkey or in the US. So I don't know. But this to me doesn't look that scary. It doesn't really doesn't really look like the volatility is that high. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But yeah, so if you have a Turkish bank account, you're basically being given free money here. Because you get more Turkish Lira than you should be getting when you sell these pairs. Now, for the future, there will come other opportunities where exchanges like Binance and FTX and Coinbase will open up their platforms to people in different areas of the world. They will open up their platforms to people with different bank accounts. Sometimes there will be a premium because there aren't enough of those people who are depositing, which can cause the demand for some of these currencies to increase. Now, once a lot of people come in, with Turkish bank accounts and start arbitraging this opportunity will go away very, very quickly. But essentially, the few of you who are watching will probably be able to sweep this up and make potentially, I don't want to say a number, but to me, this looks like you can make a pretty fat number because there's so many different pairs. The liquidity on Binance is amazing. And this 24-hour volume is just really good. I mean, 108 million per 24 hours, that's pretty liquid for something with a Turkish Lira in it. Now, the final thing I want to say, back to locational arbitrage, yeah, there will come opportunities in the future where if you're one of those lucky souls who, I don't know, lives in some country that Binance just opened up to, it pays so well a lot of the time if you can open up an account with Binance, connect your bank account, and then use that to withdraw and deposit, because there probably will be arbitrage opportunities for you that there are not for me because of where I live, of course. And finally, always keep an eye out on triangular arbitrage. Triangular arbitrage is something I talked about, I think, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, but it's something that's pretty common in crypto, and it's basically like kind of what I'd said before. If you take USDT to the Turkish Lira, you take BTC to the Turkish Lira, and let's say that this was priced at parity, or basically priced at where it normally would be, due to, you know, basically priced at like exactly what it should be, which let me tell you guys what I mean by what it should be really quickly. Let's say that you see USDT to TRY is priced at 8.167. That means that it's at parity. You can make a lot of money this way because now you can basically buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin for Turkish Lira, convert Turkish Lira to USD, and then get that rate, and then you're good to go. So that's triangular arbitrage, but I think that locational arbitrage is probably going to make you a lot more money. I know this might have been a little bit of a confusing video, guys, because arbitrage is never easy, but if you do have a Turkish bank account, then you can profit heavy by basically selling these pairs for an inflated Turkish Lira rate, withdrawing those Turkish Lira to your bank account, converting that Turkish Lira to USD, and then you make money. So if you guys have any further comments on arbitrage, locational, or triangular, in the combo of the two, you can leave some comments below. If you think that anything I said was correct or incorrect, of course I would love to hear that as well, because I'm always willing to hear new ideas and things that can be improved, especially when it comes to arbitrage. So without further ado, if you are Turkish, well, today's your heyday, and if you're not, well, you just learned something new about locational and triangular arbitrage. Happy trading. I'll see you all in the next one.